This is the RPM Podcast.
Could have gotten it right for the first time ever in this whorehouse of a town. But you tore it to shreds. You replaced it with cleavage and fart jokes.
Eric, no gag reflex, Brennan.
I always wanted to keep my women and my racing separate. It's not a sexist thing. I don't need Miss Red Cups and Miss Coors Lights and all that. I don't need that.
Eric,
Bump and splats.
Graham,
You get your skirt dirty, it's a bad thing.
Sam Ballard Jr. I like dirty skirt, Nick Rendo.
Longer, lower, wider.
And Josh Matthews. That's also because of the bumps. Yeah, it was clean, and he wore gloves. Okay, I have pictures.
Hello, everybody, and welcome back to the RPM Podcast. I say back because I assume you've listened before. If you haven't, welcome. We're going to keep you entertained, as if that intro didn't tell you that right off the bat. We got a bunch of people that we want to introduce that you'll be listening to for the next hour or so, one of which is up on the big screen. That's Sam Ballard Jr. Hi, Sam.
Hi, guys.
Neil Rutt III is here as well. And, of course, Josh Matthews running the boards. And I'm Eric Brennan.
I want to see those pictures.
What pictures? Oh, man. I don't even know what we're talking about.
I just led down a very
That didn't
dangerous
take long.
direction.
Gotta start early, man.
Oh, my goodness. Well,
That's what she said.
exactly. Well, since Neil elected to do it, we're going to jump right into things here. But I do want to say one thing. I'm sure by now, anybody listening to this is already tired of all of the talk over the national anthem stuff. So, we are not going to talk about it. We're not avoiding it. We just figured that you guys have already had your fill. And hopefully by the time that this podcast reaches your ears, it's old news. I doubt it, but I'm being hopeful. So we figured we're not going to spend any more time talking about that. We're going to talk about things that we should be talking about, which is what happened on Sunday. So the NASCAR Monster Energy Cup Series, if I said it right, was at New Hampshire Motor Speedway. Final time they're going to be running in the fall there. Remember, New Hampshire's cutting back to one race next season.
Yay!
What are they replacing it with?
Another race at Las Vegas.
Oh, yay. Great. That's going to do wonders.
You know, it's funny. I was listening to the podcast talk about a lot, that door bumper clear, and Brett Griffin, the spot of Clint Boyer, said, you know, if I was 20 years younger, I would be pumped about going to Vegas for a second time in a year. He said, but now that I'm older, he's like, I really wish we were going somewhere else other than Vegas for a second time a year, because it's not, the party atmosphere doesn't do it for him anymore.
They're like you.
The racing doesn't do it anymore.
Well,
Yeah.
the problem is I don't think New Hampshire lived up to expectations. And
Kind of like my past relationships.
well, usually those shots come at me. I'm so glad that it was at you. That made me happy.
I didn't
You're
think it
welcome.
was. All right, yes. The big story, all the fun action was the stupid Austin Dillon moron cowboy hat wearing idiot wreck.
Anything else?
I'm sorry, it pissed me off.
I can tell.
Final lap at the end of the stage. You know, fine, you're racing for some type of position, but it was stupid.
Was it even for points? Like stage points?
I don't know if it was for points.
I believe
it
they
was
were
for
both
position.
outside the top 10. I believe that they were like 13th and 14th
So
at the
it
time.
makes
So yeah, I'm
even
with you.
less
There's no
sense.
point to dump them.
It was stupid, and I know they have a history. But on top of that, the whole thing was just annoying. And that was like the big story for the race, yes.
Not sure.
But I didn't think the race was all overall that terrible. I don't think Eric liked it all that much. But
okay.
The stages, all right, without the stages, it would have been abysmal. But I think with the stages, it was
It just bunches everyone
kind of
up for a
watchable.
little bit.
The third stage wasn't really much. But
Never really is the final stages.
But yeah, so if you want to go into it, let's dive right into the one lap to go, second stage, and
Yeah, the biggest story, and pretty much the only story from the race besides the results, was that Austin Dillon got into Kevin Harvick coming off turn 2, and as Josh mentioned, they have a history together, and Harvick lit up the tires to try to keep it off the wall, and in doing so, he created an enormous cloud of smoke, and right behind them were the race leaders, and coming through there was Martin Truex Jr., who was leading at the time, the dominant car the whole time. And then Kyle Busch, Matt Kenseth, they got their cars woed up. Truex did not. He was involved in the crash.
Well, he got a little help. I think he got hit. And then as he was trying to get himself turned around and straightened out, Dale Jr., his spotter said he was clear, but the 78 was there. And Dale Jr., it was like a demo.
It was like watching two cars in the mall parking lot back out from the opposite sections of the parking lot at the same time. It was
all
perfection.
Junior did was just hit him in the left rear just to, like, when he does his burnout, if he won, it wouldn't look
it
like
wasn't
he cheated.
that bad. No, No, it might have helped him, but it really wasn't that bad. But it was it was like, oh,
Sam
you
liked
just
that
start
one.
rolling your eyes. They were just what idiots.
But really, once that happened and Truex was essentially taken out of contention, although he did rebound in the latter portion of the race, but he didn't have to because he won Chicago. Just more playoff points is all he's really racing for right now.
But why not?
But Kyle Busch, once he got the lead, dominated. A lot of different guys went up and switched into where they were running for second. Clint Boyer was up there. Matt Kenseth was up there for a while. And
Thank you, Neil. I forgot about those lights. I totally forgot about those lights.
But once the wreck happened, that was pretty much it. Kyle Larson found himself at second when the race ended. Kenseth was third. Keselowski and Truex got himself all the way back up to fifth after sustaining that damage. The drivers who took the biggest hit was the aforementioned Harvick and Kurt Busch, who now find themselves towards the bottom of the playoff rundown with one race to go in the opening round. In fact, here is the points as they run. Right now, Stenhouse and Dillon are tied for 12th. Newman is 1 point behind them, and then Kurt Busch and Casey Kane essentially probably need to win at Dover in order for them to move on to the next round. So, Sam, I don't know if you got a chance to watch the race itself in its duration, but I'm curious of what you thought of the on-track product, the storylines, and considering all the off-track BS, whether it be involving what's going on with the national anthem or what's going on with inspection and
You said we weren't going to talk about that.
He cheated.
Well, I'll get to that in a minute. But do you think that the race lived up to what it should have? Were you entertained, essentially?
No, I wasn't. But on top of that, though, I mean, this is New Hampshire, and when was the last time New Hampshire had a pretty decent race?
Well, that's a good point.
And
I tried wrecking Larson a couple years ago. That was pretty interesting.
Well, who doesn't Ryan Newman try to wreck? I mean,
is
seriously,
true.
though.
I don't think he means to do it. I just think he's so big in the car he can't control himself.
Well, Newman's got a reputation of racing everybody pretty hard. I think Sam's having a hard time controlling himself.
Dude, if you ever look at him in the car, he's like this, looking down.
Here's my problem, and this is actually really bothering me. So, I watched Chicagoland. I watched New Hampshire. In fact, I didn't watch all of Chicagoland. I watched the vast majority of Chicagoland, and I watched New Hampshire. These are the playoffs.
They suck so far.
I'm gonna reference it one more time. All the drama that happened in the NFL on Sunday, yet all of their all of their afternoon games were thrillers. I think 2 of them almost went into overtime. I think 3 of them the lead changed in the final minute. The product almost saved the BS that they had to deal with. As far as these races, they're not living up to the hype. They're not doing it. You know, these are you watch a playoff baseball game, playoff hockey game, and it doesn't matter who it is. It doesn't matter if it's your number 1 seed against your number 8 seed or whatever. I mean, and we got the advantage here. We got 39 cars on the track at the same time. The product is so dull right now, and I don't know why. And they tried to put that PJ1 substance on the first and third groove of this track.
I think that's part of the problem.
It failed. The experiment failed. It's not working. New Hampshire was better when it was just that track where you would go down into the corner, and the guy on the bottom would have to try everything he could to not slide up into the guy up top.
Yeah, but they essentially don't even run the bottom. They run the middle. They run the middle and the high line.
Part of the issue is that they mentioned before the NASCAR race that this was a track decision. This wasn't a NASCAR decision. NASCAR didn't turn around and was like, hey, this is what we're going to do. The track was like, hey, NASCAR, this is what we're going to do because we think our racing here sucks, so we're going to make it suck even harder because, well, we're New Hampshire.
See, I admire them for trying it, but the problem is they went back and they did the same thing they did in the June race, and it didn't work.
Is New Hampshire supposed to be a 2-lane racetrack? Is Martinsville supposed to be a 2-lane racetrack? Is Bristol supposed to be a 2-lane racetrack? What are they going to put those on freaking Watkins Glen next and expect two wide racing all around the freaking track? Come on, Eric.
Well, no, because then Ruderman flips.
I misspoke. It was the July race that they ended up doing that, the one that Denny Hamlin ended up coming up and winning. But first of all, aesthetically, the way that they lay this stuff out, you're basically mandating a full car width at minimum between the car on the bottom and the car on top. So they're not getting close together. There's no risk of contact. There's no risk of them running into each other.
Yeah, but these cars are so stupid aero sensitive that, if they got close together, they'd wreck anyway.
Well, I don't think it's the cars that are stupid. I just think Austin Dillon's stupid.
Well, but that's the thing. Like, all right, for New Hampshire, I understand. The traction compound that may have been one of the issues. I can't say that about Chicagoland, and I thought Chicagoland kind of matured into a decent 1.5 mile track.
It's freaking Chicagoland,
Yeah,
Josh. I'm really trying to help you out here. It's Chicagoland. God dang it!
But compared to some of the other 1.5 mile tracks on the schedule, I think Chicagoland is one of the better of the ones they have.
You're comparing crap to a bigger piece of crap. That's what you're doing.
Yeah, well, all right, so then I would just say that Chicagoland is one of the better pieces of crap they have. Because,
yeah.
I mean, look, Kentucky, Kansas,
polished
newly repaved.
that turd.
Atlanta's rough, almost a little too rough. Texas, they newly repaved. It's if I was going to pick a 1.5 track, really, Homestead and Chicagoland, I think, are the best two they have right now.
The fact that you just compared Homestead to another racetrack just shows you where NASCAR is right now.
Well, and now, here's the other thing.
And they're going to be there at the finals, they said.
Looking ahead.
Skipping.
Yeah, because Irma couldn't take it out.
Look, Dover. Work with me. Dover. The spring race at Dover. The June race at Dover, if you want to say.
We went there.
Probably one of the best Dover races they've had in a decade. I mean, it was great.
Why, did you sleep for 399
No,
laps,
it was one
400?
of the best. Truex and Larson were bumping each other out of the way for the lead at like lap 200. Like it was really one of the best Dover races.
Was so much better when it was asphalt. But then you're also going back to a different car.
Well, the point that I'm making is so you could look forward to maybe Dover being one of the better playoff races. I read today that they're changing the tire configuration that they're bringing there. They're bringing the Darlington tire, and they're going to bring the left side Dover tire and see what that does. But you had something that worked in June. Why would you change it?
What is that?
Who cares?
We could bring different tires from each track. That's like going on a modified tour and let's run American Racers and Hoosiers at the same time.
But the point is they had something that worked in June. They had something that it was a great. Aside from the wreck on the last lap, it was probably one of the best races of the year.
Eric, do you not understand this is NASCAR? When something's good, they have to screw it up.
And I think if it wasn't for the playoff format, I think the playoff thing and watching guys, for 12, 13, 14, I mean, they were racing for position, they were racing for points, but it's all window dressing. It's all masking the bigger problem. The races are not what they should be. I went back while sitting and watching the race on Sunday, and I went and I uploaded the 2002 fall race in New Hampshire before the rain hit. It was the one that Ryan Newman won. And if you go to a random lap, just the cars are just able to run closer together. They're not passing and jockeying for position like crazy, but they're just physically capable of running close enough together.
You know what the part of that is too is the competition advantage that Toyota has over the rest of the manufacturers. Brad Keselowski brought it up. We talked about it a few weeks ago on the show. That really has a big part of it because look at it. What did it? Chevy lead 2 or 3 laps, and then a Ford led a few laps, and besides that, it was Toyota the last 6 races.
But is it really Toyota with the advantage, or is it more so the 78 and the 18? Because I think that it's more so them as organizations and teams. Because remember, Toyota...
No, because they went back over the last 3 races, and I think it was 96% of the laps were led by Toyota. So, I mean, maybe... yes, the 78...
And almost every single race is on the pole is a Toyota, too.
Yeah, I don't think it's just the 78, though. I think that's a big part of it, but I don't think it's just him.
And I don't think it's a competition edge that they don't work harder than these guys. They just put more money into it. So NASCAR needs to say, hey, either these cars can't be equal like what we're trying to do, or just have at it.
Because I can't believe Red Bull didn't do better because they're good at dumping money at stuff and then doing well.
That's because they had Brian Vickers behind the wheel.
See, but if you look at the first half of the year, Toyota only had
Scott Speed.
I was going to say, and Scott Speed.
Toyota only had 2 wins out of the first 17 races. So, I mean, is it really just them kind of peaking at the right time here?
Oh, my gosh. I've never heard of people sandbagging in racing. Jeez.
Yeah, but you can't sandbag with this current format. It's not going to work.
Is it working for them right now?
Yeah, right now it is. Yeah, but Kyle Busch didn't win until Pocono, which is race 21
I love how he's
calendar.
arguing with him, and every single second you see him look up.
Yeah.
Does it really matter?
So I'm watching his facial expressions, his reaction.
You know what?
He can't see me. I wish he could see me.
Does it really matter? At the end of the day, they're leading the points right now. So if anything, they're playing the system right. They're cheating right now, and they're not getting caught. if they're cheating.
It's going to be a big thing if all Toyotas are in like the top final four. Is there that many Toyotas in the?
And for
Final.
our listeners out there, I don't want them to
They're
think that
wrong.
I'm hating on Toyota. It's just they have a clear advantage right now, just like Chevy has had in the past, and that we've come out. Chad Knaus, Ray Abraham, Darian Grubb. These guys in the past worked for Chevy teams were caught cheating. I think the whole illegal parts section in the NASCAR Hall of Fame is all owned by Chad Knaus anyway. So at the end of the day, who's cheating who here?
Just note, if you can see it, right behind Sam's head,
He's
got
got Jimmy
got a Jimmy Johnson 48 poster. So he speaks
I like
his
winners.
mind. There you go. Speaking of the 48, I think Dover is going to be the biggest test of whether or not he's actually going to be a contender, because the first two races have not proven that at all.
He's going to win it like Talladega.
Why does everyone decide to stick their foot in their mouth and count out the 48? I don't understand it. Have you not watched
Yeah,
NASCAR
look at that
the last
poster.
Yeah. Thank you, Neil.
You're welcome.
Thank you, Neil.
We're on a good page today.
The competitive nature of the 48 team is not where it should have been. 8th at Chicagoland, and then in Loudon, it's like you did not hear his name throughout most of the day. Finished 14th. It just wasn't what it should have been for that 48 car.
This is exactly what the people were saying before he won Bristol in April. That's all I'm saying.
Well, we'll see what happens. I could see him grabbing one out at Dover, which would be the last race in the first round of the playoffs where we will eliminate 4 drivers. I don't know if you guys have an idea of who may be in trouble. I mean, Kurt Busch, Casey Kane are really in trouble. And then it gets tight. And McMurray, Dillon, Stenhouse, and Newman all covered by 10 points. There's only 10 spots on the track.
What about Kenseth?
So Kenseth, he's got a considerable advantage. He's up towards the top.
Really?
He had a strong finish at Loudon where he finished 3rd. So that kind of helped him. Plus, the
Well,
rest,
I think they had to come back from.
yeah. And then guys like Harvick, Elliott, Blaney, they got a 25, 26-point buffer, so they should be okay. But Dover is one of those tracks where anything could happen to kind of shake things up. But if I'm Newman, Stenhouse, Dillon, I'm sweating a little bit heading into that.
If anything, they should be sweating because they're going to be going up against Kevin Harvick with his back to the wall. I mean, ever since Kevin Harvick's been Kevin Harvick, he's been able to pull something out of his ass when it comes to being up against the wall here. So if anything, Kevin Harvick is definitely advancing in the next round of 12.
So Dover will be up this Sunday for the Cup Series. It will also be a Dover weekend for the Xfinity Series, but they were not in New Hampshire. They had their standalone race in Kentucky, which makes no sense to me whatsoever.
And it wasn't interesting also.
And Tyler
It's
Reddick
Kentucky.
just dominated the thing. I mean, he just pretty much just took off and left and ended up getting another win for that 42 car, but it was the first of his Xfinity career. Nice to see Reddick, who just signed a deal with Junior Motorsports to run full-time in 2018, get that first win, considering the fact he went from driving a truck full-time for a few years to having to settle for a part-time Xfinity ride to essentially rebuild his career. So that was good to see. Aside from that,
There was another exciting race this weekend. My dad actually came down. I got to watch it with him. The ARCA race.
I didn't get to watch that.
Oh my God, it was entertaining. It was a sportsman race from beginning to end.
I'm going to have to watch that when I get home.
Oh, it was.
well, I was actually I ended up working way out in Pennsylvania, and I finished up about 7:30. So I went, I got something to eat, and
AM or
I had
PM?
PM.
Okay.
I had the Fox Sports Go app on my phone, and I started. By the time I finished eating, it was like 8:30. I started watching the race on my phone. I went back to my truck. I couldn't leave because I wanted to see how the race was going to end because it was nuts. You had 4 wide passes for the lead on restarts, guys
were
taking
they?
each other out. And Josh, you cited something that Tyler Truex said on Twitter. Quote, man, I'm sorry, but some of these guys in this ARCA race honestly don't even deserve to drive their mom's minivan. It was a
true.
mess. It was a mess.
Oh my God, where they were spinning into the wall, this bouncing off of everything else. It was just, I mean, I don't know if they've never driven on a track that big before. I have no idea what it was. I mean, I know they're all technically trying to drive for their job, but it's so play to play in that division that. I don't know. It was stupid all around. It was incredibly entertaining. You don't need ambulances on pit road.
I don't know how many cars they're going to have when they show up for the next race, which I think is going to be Kansas, which will be the season finale. But Austin Terrio won for the 7th time this year for Ken Schrader Racing, essentially locked up the championship, which, if I'm going to continue on a streak of bitching about things, the ARCA point standings makes no sense.
What, did they do the playoffs or no?
He's got like a 250-point lead, which is the most that you could earn in an ARCA race, but they try to reward guys for running the full season. So for every 5 races you start, you get a 250-point bonus. So they have to like him and Dalton Sargent have to actually start the race in Kansas Otherwise, Sargent could end up with 500 points in this one race if he starts it and wins, and Terrio doesn't. It makes no sense. Just keep it simple, stupid. I understand it's ARCA, but make it so that way you don't have to do algebra to figure it out. It should be rather simple.
Is that what you were counting before?
There's a couple things I've been.
Go ahead.
I think this is the third time consecutively on the show that we brought up ARCA. Frank Kimmel a few weeks ago, and last week, and now this week. So I mean, at least they're getting some airtime.
But you know what, Sam? The product is good. I couldn't stop watching. Can't say that about the Cup race or the truck race.
Only from an entertainment standpoint. The racing was terrible. It was entertaining because it was like a demo derby.
Well, you know what you're getting with it. You're not getting it. You're not getting A+.
You're gonna drive. They're gonna wreck. So.
Yeah. There's some talent, like Terrio's a talented kid, and so speaking of the truck race, it was their first playoff race as well, just like the Xfinity guys down in Kentucky. And on the truck side, it was Christopher Bell who ended up leading 73 out of 175
laps. He took the lead late from Truex.
Yeah, with about 15 to go, got around New Jersey's Ryan Truex. Truex had to settle for second, and Josh, you also want to give a shout out for somebody who picked up a top 5 finish.
I did.
Yeah.
Oh, I wrote that.
Oops.
Freezing.
Yeah, see,
me and Josh were discussing that
really well. But the dirt star himself, Stuart Friesen, got himself a 5th place finish. Remember, they aligned with GMS Motorsports at the latter portion of the season, and it starts to see it coming into fruition now. Next up in the trucks will be a standalone event in Las Vegas. Another thing I'm pissed about. Why are the standalone races for the lower series on 1.5-mile tracks? You got Kentucky for the Xfinity guys. You got Vegas for the truck guys. Matt Weaver said that the truck race in Vegas, this one, should be at the Las Vegas Bull Ring. I agree.
Oh, that would be awesome.
The trucks shouldn't even be racing in freaking Las Vegas. They should be going up and down the East Coast. We have plenty of local short tracks in the area that need their support. That's all I'm saying.
I'm on board with that, as long as it's short track.
Trucks at Concord.
Oh, and by the way, real quick, I have a lot of the GMS guys come to Jersey Mike's down here in Concord, North Carolina. They are extremely excited about the truck program they brought this year. So watch them for the championship.
Johnny Sauter, a favorite to try to win it again in 2017. We'll see if he can do it, and we'll have a better idea of what their playoff will look like following Saturday night's race in Vegas. That's it. That's all I got.
What about Phoenix changing their name?
Yeah, Phoenix picked up a new sponsor. I have no idea what it is because I did not do my homework.
It's
I'll write it down.
I just saw it before. It was like
they sponsored the Cup race this weekend. It's the IMS Connect.
Okay, that's what it is.
What the hell is that? Like an iPhone thing?
It's
or
finally
something?
like another like a company is sponsoring a track, like Lowe's used to sponsor Charlotte.
Yeah.
Or they own
You know,
I don't know, whatever it was.
South Boston.
Don't yell at me,
Dragway.
Sam, please.
But you remember South Boston Speedway.
That is an amazing track.
In Virginia, it used to be sponsored by Big Daddy's barbecue sauce. So it was like Big Daddy's South Boston Speedway. For like 3 years,
That's
they
a
had
nice
that.
track.
I
name.
like the idea. I think that's great. It's just,
ISM Raceway, yeah, that'll be the naming rights for them.
Well,
I feel weird
Eric.
about
Come
that.
on.
No, I know.
I feel weird about sponsored track names. Like,
why?
I don't know. I just feel
Because they race on Wednesdays. And
yes,
you can't
exactly,
race on
and I
Wednesdays.
can't.
I don't mind the
Because I
tracks
take
being
off
sponsored,
early for here on
But-
Tuesdays, so I can't take off early on Wednesdays.
But the day that Credit One Bank removes their name as a sponsor of the white flag, I'm gonna have a celebratory party like banquet style.
You know what's going to happen is Eric Brennan's going to get a job interview for like MSNBC or something like that to broadcast the race, and they're going to hear him saying, "I wish sponsors pull out NASCAR." And they're like, "F this guy, we don't need him."
I would say that it wouldn't be MSNBC. That's where we'd be talking about Trump and stuff. But it would probably be NBCSN. You were in the ballpark. I'll take it. And no,
You're never
listen,
right, Sam.
No,
If that happened, you got to sell. But I don't want to be told I've said Credit One Bank white flag. There's plenty of other things they could put their name on. Not
That's a
my white
mouthful.
flag.
probably the most interesting track that NASCAR has right now is Phoenix. So I'm pretty glad to see they have support behind.
That's because they go like 10 lanes like low just to make one pass.
Well, I remember they would have the plan
I
in
hate
place
that.
to reconfigure the track, and I believe they're going to move the start-finish line to off of what is now
to the
turn
back.
2. So I don't know. I don't know how I feel about that. But
God, what do you like? Freaking IndyCar?
this week, nothing. That, yes. And we're going to talk about that when we come back to the RPM podcast. Listen to Sam in North Carolina, Neil, Josh, and me, live from the Waretown, New Jersey studios. We'll be right back talking about IndyCar, some
Okay,
Formula
now they
1
know
stuff,
we're
and a
rare.
whole bunch more. Don't go anywhere. Hey everyone, this is Eric Brennan from the RPM Podcast. Want to get in touch with us? Send us an email at racingpodcastnj@gmail.com. And yes, hate mail for Josh is encouraged.
Oh, hot dogs.
Yeah, that's what I read. It's crazy.
That is awesome.
Welcome back to the RPM Podcast. Sam Ballard, Neil Rutt III, Josh Matthews. I'm Eric Brennan. One bit of NASCAR news that I missed. Ross Chastain's going to come back and run for that number 15 car again. He finished 20th at Dover. I love that little watermelon kid.
You came all over him at Dover last year, last spring.
I was very happy.
That was very loud out of nowhere.
I was very happy with that run. Kid deserves a better shot.
Dude, any car that's like designed like a watermelon is awesome.
I know. It'd be perfect.
It needs a Kool-Aid sponsor though too.
What?
Oh my gosh. Anyway,
IndyCar was testing their final test for the 2018 bodywork on their cars at Sebring International Raceway down in Florida. The track itself survived the wrath of Hurricane Irma, and they were able to get the cars out there despite the fact temperatures approached nearly 100 degrees in Sebring this afternoon. Instead of having the traditional 2 cars there were actually 4 cars that were testing. While Pablo Montoya was driving for Penske, Oriol Servi was with the Schmidt-Peterson organization, Scott Dixon with Ganassi, and Spencer Piggott for Ed Carpenter's team. Also was reported that James Hinchcliffe got in the Schmidt-Peterson car at one point, and our reigning champ, or current champ, I should say, Joseph Newgarden, got behind the Penske machine as well. Cars look pretty sporty. They look fast. There's a video on Racer.com if you want to go see it.
Race cars looked fast. Good.
Well, no, it's different from what you had on the road course setup with all the different like winglets and all these other pieces. And according to the wind tunnel numbers, they're estimating that they have been able to remove about 2,000 pounds of downforce compared to the old bodywork that was used this season to what they're going to have on the road courses next season. So straightaway speeds are higher. You got to brake a little bit harder to get into the corner, and the car's a little more darty, and they move around a lot.
We're going to see a lot of brake rotor slow.
Yeah, I'm pumped for this. This is actually one of the most exciting things I think that's going on in racing for next season. Is this?
And think about how sad that is.
So what? The cars look great. I mean, when they introduced the aero kit idea, I thought it was a good thing. But now to see it get back to what it should be, which is something that Will Power's been clamoring for, just take away the downforce, make the cars faster, and let us just drive them. And that's what they're going to have the opportunity to do on the road.
What, so they can fly over the fence now and not in the fence?
Well, more so on the road course side because, the Indy cars should be faster. Maybe not the Formula One, in memory of Nick Rendo, who hasn't been here in 3 months. The bigger, wider, faster, it doesn't have to go that far where they're 5 seconds faster on the road course. But you want to make it look like the guys are driving a little bit harder, and that's what we're going to see next year. Nobody's enthused about this except me.
If you want to make them look like they're driving harder, put them on a simulator and then crop it in.
If
so
it
looks like they're in a real car.
Give them fenders.
Yeah,
that's true.
I'm going to give it the same attitude that I gave F1 over the winter, waiting. I'll believe it when I see it.
They did it to Formula E. They kind of put makeshift fenders on it, and they smash each other every week, and they fly through the fences and everything.
Yeah.
So do that to IndyCar and Formula One, and you'll see cars fly through fences.
And I want our listeners to know that we don't want wrecked race cars every week, but we just want racing. Unlike Eric Brennan and Nick Rendo, the rest of us,
fuel mileage,
much like
yay!
you guys, yeah, we don't come because there's a fuel mileage race.
Wait, hold on a second.
This turned on you now.
Hold on a second. I think the actual racing will be better on the IndyCar road courses with this new, and probably on the ovals too. Although that's the only thing I'm afraid of.
Makeshift fenders.
I'm afraid they're going to mess up the formula that has worked so well on some of the oval stuff. Like Pocono was amazing. I don't care what Josh says. I love the Indy 500. So I'm afraid that formula is going to get a little messed up, where the cars get too strung out and they're not able to draft and pass like they used to. But the road course stuff needed work. I mean, yeah, it's no different than what you see on the Cup cars, the mile-and-a-half tracks. With all that downforce they have, the minute you get up to somebody and you lose that downforce on the front end, you can't catch them anymore, and then you can't pass them. So they're trying to eliminate that problem.
Yeah, but NASCAR road course is better than IndyCar because they smash through each other.
Josh?
You don't like it, Josh? You don't like a road course?
Neil is right.
I like road
right
course.
Because I'm like what Sam said.
I just can't believe
like,
we're talking this much about IndyCar
I know.
right now.
We don't like wrecked cars, but I don't know. I like bumping runs too.
Anyway,
I like
stuff.
contact.
But through tight corners, that's awesome. If you're going through a wide
IndyCar needs fenders. Ding, next.
Yeah.
That's not IndyCar anymore.
Speaking of wrecked race cars, Kvyat's going to be out next year.
Kvyat.
Well, no,
you tried.
I prefer Kvyat.
Yeah. Well,
Well, no,
no,
we don't know
they
for
don't-
next year. It's for a couple races
He's
coming up.
He's going to be out next.
Carlos Sainz
Probably.
is going to another team. So because it's Sainz that I'm thinking of. He's the Toro Rosso teammate.
I believe so.
So he's going to another team. They want to bring in Pierre Gasly to kind of get some experience in the Toro Rosso car, and then the speculation is that once the move is made for Sainz to go to Renault, that Kvyat will come back and join the Toro Rosso team again.
But they want to. Gasly's been doing really well at the Japanese Formula racing, as well as there was another division I can't remember. He's been performing really well, so he's like next in line. They said so. It's that ladder system. And they said, all right, he's the next one to get a chance at it. So we're going to let him run a couple races, and, we'll see what we think of him. And, yeah.
But
so.
shouldn't this be the opposite? Like, shouldn't drivers want to be running away from Toro Rossi because of McLaren next year?
That's a good point. But I don't know what their move is going to be. With no McLaren, what are they going to have?
I really like to get Nick Rando's input here, but apparently he decided to drop off the face of the earth.
Yep.
Yeah, pretty much.
Just one quick thing about Danny Kvyat. You want to talk about somebody who fell from grace rather quickly? I mean, wasn't it just 2 years ago that he was the number 2 guy at Red Bull, like the factory Red Bull team, the Red Bull team, and then once Max Verstappen got hot and Kvyat lost the seat, he went down to Toro Rosso, and then less than a year later, he's going to lose that ride?
Have you guys ever seen the show Hey Arnold?
Yes.
Yeah.
Mac Verstappen is Hey Arnold. With that stretched out face.
Oh, my God.
We need to talk about V8 supercars more.
Okay. Yes,
they
we
put
do.
on
That.
a
We
show.
can't
See?
perfect Formula One conversations.
But
You wanna
that's
start talking
Formula
about
One with
V8.
fenders is V8 supercars.
It's good stuff. The race is good, but I don't.
Eric Brennan, there is nothing to talk about with F1. Nothing. We all know Mercedes has a championship, and they're going to probably win everything. So what is there to talk about?
Well, why are we talking about anything then?
We pretty much
You can't
do.
adopt that logic. That's why they run the races. Like, it's going to be the last race in Malaysia that's coming up. That's going to be exciting. It's probably going to rain because it always rains in Malaysia.
We can.
You
See,
know?
but that's a good topic about it. And then
Exactly.
when V8 supercars go to Budapest, that's like a legendary thing.
They had a hard wreck.
And the guy
last
was
week.
fine, too.
I can't believe there was like nothing left of that
This
car.
is our show now.
It was a cage.
Have fun. Good luck. Jesus, take the wheel. See how that goes for
Wrong
you.
wheel.
Also,
It does work, by the way, to our listeners. Jesus does take the wheel.
Sam, you pointed out Aston Martin and Red Bull having a partnership for next season. I saw a blurb about that. I don't know anything more on
Aston
it.
Martin, not Ashton. I don't. Sam can't type. I don't know why.
No,
Or spell rather.
I mean, I always said Aston Martin.
Sam's been at Walt too
my
much.
days when I was playing Gran
Turismo.
Isn't it pronounced Ashton Martin?
Aston.
It is that. I know how it's spelled,
Aston.
but I thought because of the
Ashton.
European
We're
flair that it
surrounded.
is.
Yeah, I told you.
I like oval asphalt racing. I really do, but I'm not. I apparently am too intelligent for
You mean oval asphalt racing?
asphalt.
Anyway, for those who are actually still listening, they are extending the already involved program they had with Red Bull with the engines and everything, and they're looking to make more products towards the F1 racing because of Red Bull. So pretty much that is what it is. It's on our Facebook page if you want to actually read it, if you care.
Okay. Anyway, I think we should move on to the local
Yeah,
stuff.
let's go on. Modified racing.
I want to do snacks.
But what about modifieds at New Hampshire?
Well,
That's part of that 3-weekend thing.
After Wall on Saturday night, I stopped to grab food with my dad and my buddy Kevin McCormick. He ran he ran a factory stock race.
Kevin's a great guy.
Yeah, no, he is. He's
I
been there
remember
to help. Consistently, great guy. And suddenly, up on the TVs there at the bar, they had the modified race from Riverhead on NBC Sports. That was kind of cool. We got to hang out and watch that.
Which, while we have a moment, I did get to watch that. A couple real quick things. NBCSN did a fantastic job paying tribute to Ted Christopher on that race.
Yes.
NASCAR did a great job paying tribute to Ted Christopher this weekend. Moment of silence at every race they had at New Hampshire. 4-wide salute during Tour Modified race. Fans holding up the number 13. And if you haven't seen a lot of the pictures, videos, and everything that's come out of the wake that took place in Connecticut over the last 2 days, thousands of people. The line was
They
estimated
said
to be
like
about
the
3/4
street and
of a
everything
mile.
was closed.
Yeah, like they thought the pedestrian line of people that were there was about 3/4 of a mile long to pay their respects to such a great guy who was laid to rest today. And although we mentioned it last week, we're still thinking about the Christopher family, and that is a loss that I don't know if short track racing, particularly the world of modified racing, will be able to ever get over because he was just a legend in our time.
Yeah.
They were giving out ice cream.
So where
They were.
At
They were
his
giving out
funeral.
ice cream. I saw that.
yeah, it's and I'll tell you not to stick on it too much. Just kudos to everybody involved. You know, Riverhead, NBCSN, all the short tracks. Stafford did some amazing things last Friday as well for him. Again, when Keith Rocco won in the first race back since it happened, and just hats off to everybody. I think if Teddy was around today to see it, he would be beside himself because I know we were. You know, it was unreal. Just great job by them. Now, I don't know how to shift gears from that because it's always hard. It's never
Why
easy.
don't we just go modifieds to Martinsville race?
Well, I want to say I believe it's Thursday at 6 p.m. on NBC Sports. They're going to have the modified race from, what was it, Kentucky?
Modifieds at Kentucky? That would be awesome.
No, New Hampshire.
New Hampshire. I'm sorry.
Sam,
Sorry.
we need to get to the boards and make that a thing.
But yeah, so that's gonna be coming up. I mean, NBC Sports, kudos to them for taking on
That race should
They've
be
done
live.
it a lot.
That race should be live. I'm sorry.
Well, so should the Bristol race.
Yeah, I mean, if you're at a NASCAR companion track, just like the K&N East race at Dover should be live. This Friday, even though they only got 17 cars entered.
Sam's upset with us.
We should have a category of the show called "What's Eating Eric Brennan."
Yeah, I'm cranky today.
You are.
You are.
I really am. I don't care.
You're-
As somebody who's earned a reputation of loving everybody and everything, I have a right to have like a PMS day. And This
No.
is my day. I hope that didn't offend anybody, but I'm just saying I'm very
No, because
cranky.
then we got to deal with you. Do
What?
it tomorrow when no one sees you.
No,
Yeah.
I'm just saying. Like, what? Sam's beside himself.
I'd rather you upset more coworkers.
Exactly. Not
Me?
us.
No, I get along with my people. I get along with
No,
everybody.
you get along with them real well.
Anyway,
I just think I have good ideas. I don't know. I hate you all. So the big late model race at Martinsville took place this past Saturday. It was the Valley Star Credit Union 300, and this race has earned a reputation as being a crash fest. And
They wrecked in the Consi.
yeah, and although
Like real bad.
Neil, how many
always
times
do.
do you wreck race cars? Let's be honest here.
Not
I
Saturday
didn't wreck.
night.
Yeah, I didn't wreck Saturday night, but we're gonna get there in a little bit.
Yeah.
Stop trying to skip.
Biggest story about this particular race, it's for me two things. One is the level of interest from the big league stock car guys. Like Denny Hamlin and Daniel Suarez flew from New Hampshire to Martinsville to watch this race, to fly back late at night. Apparently the race ended after midnight to go back to New Hampshire to race their Cup cars.
It's because their track crew isn't as awesome as Walls.
So, well, it's a NASCAR. It's almost a NASCAR sanctioned event where they have NASCAR, the NASCAR officials, NASCAR cleanup crews,
Which is
all
why
that
there were
stuff.
debris cautions.
Well,
I'm just gonna assume. Yeah, yep, there's the quote. Fingers. Yep.
the second thing to take out of this was the fact that Martinsville used this race as their first opportunity to roll out their new LED lighting system. which-
Yes.
It looked awesome.
Yeah.
I'm sorry.
Freak yes.
Sam interrupted you, so I
Yes.
had to.
No, it's
It looked
okay.
awesome under the lights.
I
I
mean,
can't wait to see NASCAR.
They were
there.
able to hook it up to some type of tunage thing where it was able to do all sorts of like light effects and stunts during opening ceremonies and stuff.
That was stupid.
and what?
For God's sake, just
He liked it and
hang
they
on.
didn't
Whoa,
like it.
whoa. Yeah, I love concert and studio lighting and all that. So back off. This is my balloon moment here. Okay.
I'm with Josh on this. I mean, anything that could
Oh,
enhance,
forget it.
no, not because of the balloon effect. Just anything that could enhance the experience of the paying customer. Like that's something cool. Like it's something that they could do to kind of hype everything up.
racetracks.
The new LED hot dog.
Well, you know what? If I hold on, I'm about
It's Martinsville. Leave me alone. I'm allowed.
if we can't talk about the IndyCar bodywork, if we can't talk about the racetracks, what do you guys want to talk about?
Snacks.
Go ahead.
Well, apparently Koenig and
He's
Byrne
so
are still
mad
going
today.
out of the wall.
All right, say that again, Sam.
Apparently Koenig and Byrne are still going out of the wall.
All right,
yeah,
look,
I'm not touching that. You guys have a good
All
time
right.
with that one. I'm friends with everybody. I'm not ruining it.
I'm friends with everybody, and as far as I'm concerned, every driver in that division is my friend. Okay, they've treated me. They've all treated me with respect. I don't know why, but they have.
Because
Great
you
guys.
had the ketchup car. Who doesn't love ketchup? Probably Eric Brennan.
I have a friend that hates mustard.
I used to. I don't
so
like
you
it
know,
anymore.
anyway.
You used to hate ketchup?
I used to
but-
like it. I don't.
Exactly. So he don't like you anymore.
Okay, but for after what I've seen going back and forth, and it's more the Facebook stuff. It's after the fact. Honestly, they should both know better, and they should both.
It's that social media talk
Granted,
we talked
it's
about.
more a relative on one side of it, but I mean, honestly, guys, just shut your mouths. You're only going to dig your hole deeper. And at this point, my personal belief, because if I'm racing Turkey Derby, I don't want to get caught up in a wreck caused by them acting like idiots. So I just get them done for the year. Give them till April to calm their jets, and go from there.
I will agree with one thing. I've seen in other divisions and in a lot of other places where a lot of people have gotten caught up in somebody else's mess, and it's and that's what breaks your heart. And you don't just see it on a local level; you see it all the way up on the national level. I mean, it happens everywhere. Like the infamous Jeff Gordon, Clint Boyer thing at Phoenix, where they took out Joey Logano, who's having like his best run ever in that 20 car back
Would it
then.
be entertaining? Yes, but
Yeah,
I don't.
It hurts more on
Anybody
the local level.
wrecking Joey Logano is entertaining.
Oh my God, Sam, we didn't even talk about the practice thing that they did to that poor kid.
Made him sit on pit road
In his car, suited up. Why?
with the window net up. He couldn't even put the window net down because
Why?
he was on pit road.
Put that on my list of stuff I'm not happy about.
Who?
Joey Logano.
So apparently that car failed inspection so many times
Again.
that instead of being docked like 15 minutes of practice or 30 minutes of practice, he got docked the whole practice. But the rule is he had to sit in the car, suited up, window net up, the whole time.
He couldn't just take it to the garage.
That's
They
the thing.
made
He
him
had to sit on pit road. At the end of
inside
pit
the
road
car.
when they're like
Because
coming on. He had to sit there.
They couldn't work on the car, so that was NASCAR's way of preventing them working on the
So
car.
let him impound the car. Let Joey go sign autographs for an hour. Like it's funny.
No.
Like he
No.
tweeted a picture of his wife with like her hand on the window net, and he said, "Oh, this is my visitation hours." Like,
All right, I'll give him that.
I mean, oh my God, like that.
Okay. Anyway, I want to give a shout out to Eric Lane. He had a hell of a race going in the sportsman division.
I guess we're at wall now.
Yeah, we're going. Yeah, well, we were talking about Jerry and
I'm sorry.
Richie. So
was paying attention.
he got taken out while leading. That was a shame. Well, the Lane family's been incredibly good to me and all of us, and with our live shows and all that. So that was kind of a shame to see. It happens. And from there, I had something else, and Eric moved it. So Eric, please take over.
I'll tell you, this past Saturday at Wall Stadium Speedway was one of the best nights of racing that I have seen all year. And it was without the Premier 304 modifieds. And I mean of racing. And you could start from anywhere you want. The legend car ranks, Mike Alcaro showed up. Yeah, he won again, but he had to start mid-pack, work his way forward. The racing was great. We had a healthy car count of the legend cars, considering what it's been over the last couple of months.
Four cylinders had a lot of cars too.
Oh yeah,
21.
the Elite Maintenance Limited late models, Harry Schaefer. That's always a great story when Harry runs well.
They had a good car count.
And they were running well, and the racing was good. Cole was
Not
right
bad,
on the
not
back
bad.
bumper.
Rob.
With a few laps to go. So
Tillett
Rob
got run over though.
Mm-hmm.
I have Cole. Box score has Cole.
We had Rob.
I'm gonna have to verify that. That's frustrating.
Sorry,
to hear.
Cole or Rob, if you're watching. I was told it was Rob
I'm gonna have
behind
to
the
check
wheel.
that.
Well, I'm just saying when I. No.
Hey, Neil Ruck, can I make a deal with you?
Sure. You want me to shut up?
Are you guys racing this weekend?
Not sure yet.
All right, well, if you can get a ride and you win the factory stock race, I will drive down next weekend, pick you up, and bring you to North Carolina for the NASCAR race. You have to win, though.
Someone put me in a factory stock this week, please.
There you go. That's sales pitch.
Sales pitch.
And people actually watch the show, too.
Yeah.
The four-cylinder race was also great. Brian Osborne had started, I think, 13th on the grid with the point leader, work his way to the front.
Well, there was a caution fairly early. I think it was Jen Schultz and Nicole Raziano got together. So I know they've had their previous run-in, so that made it a little bit more exciting for that incident. JC was leading a number
5
of
laps. 5 laps. He's getting more and more laps every week. It is
but I mean, he was holding his own. He really was, and I know I talked to him before the race, and he was feeling a little unsure about it, but he did really well. So, good job, JC.
Hold on, before we go into a new topic, the crowd was amazing.
It was packed to track night.
I know it was $10, but
They
still,
packed the
it was
track.
like I think 4 rows up, like from 4 rows up all the way was
Yeah.
people. It was amazing.
It was a good crowd.
And I'll talk about that in 1 second. The Osborne won the 4-cylinder race. Kyle Sisko, the sportsman race and the factory stock race, I have never, ever seen that, let alone twice in one night. The leader got a nudge from behind in the last corner of the last lap and held on, wrestling the car to the checkered flag the whole way. Kyle Sisko did it after he and LeRae were racing hard for the win, and nothing dirty. LeRae didn't do anything wrong. Elliott Wall didn't do anything wrong.
Well, it was Montano, Wall, and Hellberg. The three of them were stacked together. I mean, like nose
It was
to
a
tail.
blanket. You could
Yeah,
covered them.
It was great.
And they were all banging bumpers, so it wasn't anything particular. I mean, yeah, it was aggressive, but not overly aggressive. I mean, and Montano was loose coming off a 4. He was able to gather it up and stay ahead and win. But it was exciting because you didn't know what was going to happen. Because I mean, even if he did spin, who knows if he was going to come down and take out the other two, and the 5th place guy ends up winning or something ridiculous like that.
I wish.
Sam
could have flew me down.
Who was in 5th place? Oh, Neil.
How y'all doing?
And that was in a deal that came together late, Neil. And,
That
Last
came-
minute.
Yeah, practice.
and that had to feel good.
Oh, it did.
I mean, to be out of the car for that long, like that type of car for
I think
that
it was
long.
about 2 years. That was the last time I stepped in a factory stock.
I mean, the factory stock field is tough.
I
this
love
year.
it.
You were running right there with the guys who have multiple wins on the season already.
You had a good, I want to say, 5 laps side by side with Riggleman, and that was
I
one
held
of the
him.
bigger parts of the show. But you came from, where'd you start? 12th.
I started 12th, yeah.
Yeah,
you
and you worked
besides
your-
the big wreck,
Yeah,
but
that was key.
We still passed a couple cars, and we stood our ground. I want to thank our sponsor of the show, O'Shea Auto Repair, for giving me that opportunity. But for not being in a car, I felt confident afterwards. It sucked for my teammate Brian, I guess you would say.
Well, yeah, Brian and Tim
my
Magic.
my buddy.
It was a weird. There is some onboard video of it, and you can see it looked like a car started to go around in front of the 74. The 74 tried to go high to avoid it. The 27 was already there, which caused the 74 to get hooked and go head on to the wall. That car got mangled pretty bad. That bent.
It's
A
back
good portion
together.
of the 27. Yeah, no, I mean, give them credit.
Yeah.
They've been putting the cars back together. You were helping put the 27 back together. That had like a bent horn or something. I mean, it was just. It's a shame to see the cars getting destroyed the way they have been. I'm glad to see them coming back together.
Yeah.
But I don't remember cars getting destroyed like that a few years ago. It was rare.
And it's funny because we were essentially going a little bit faster, and there was a lot more cars. So when one car wrecked in the front, 20 other cars were coming through them, not 5,
Yeah. So, but I mean, good job, Neil, on avoiding
you.
that. And
that was good to
and the
see.
finish as well.
And when
so.
you look at the results, it's winner, 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 winner on the season, Neil, and then the other winner. And then the top 6 is 5 winners on the season, and Neil, who's in his first start of the year in a factory stock.
That's reminiscent of Neil flipping out on the officials. F you, Eric, we're cool. F you.
Also,
And I was one of those FUs, by the way.
But that's
That's
because you make fun of me every week. So this was just like in future.
You didn't even
It was
know
future
me.
references, okay?
Also, one thing I want to touch on, I was so happy to see
Gotta
Mike
look into the
Montano
future.
win, and this is not to be biased. Mike won his first race on a makeup a few months ago, and we had a technical problem with the microphone, and we couldn't give him a proper victory lane, and that was something that just bothered me. And I felt like the racing gods owed me a solid to allow him an opportunity to not only win, but have a chance to thank all the people who got him there in the first place.
We
And
raced
to
side
see him
by
finally
side
have
in
a
the heat
chance to do
races,
that.
too.
It was so cool, and the finish was amazing. Same thing with the sportsman race with Kyle Sisko. Just
The sportsman
all
race
around good
was
stuff.
it was
was
entertaining, but it was equivalent to that ARCA race. I mean, it was
Minivan.
stupid. Yeah,
Well, the
top
two
minivans would
in
have done
points
better.
wrecked on what?
Yeah, true.
Like
Truex
lap
and
10?
Davison, they got involved in stuff, but they were able to work their way back up. Davison got 7th, and Truex ended up getting 11th, so that championship fight is going to tighten up significantly. Remember, the season finale is double points. That'll be this Saturday, September 30th. That's what we're expecting to hear a lot of. There is a rain
know
date
what that
of
was. I was like,
October
what is that?
7th in the event, but it looks as though the weather is going to be beautiful on Saturday, at least from the last thing that I saw. And the other thing I want to mention is we did have 2 demo derbies at the track. A 4-cylinder demo derby that was won by Chris Klotz, one of the best interviews I've ever done. And the 8-cylinder demo derby was won by Norman Lane Sr., one of the quietest interviews I ever did.
That was fun.
Because he didn't want to talk. But as far as the crowd, one of the most responsive and energetic crowds I ever had a chance to talk to.
It was fun. I liked the demo drivers. It was a good show.
It's because you kept your clothes on, Eric.
This time. This time. There's always next time, Sam.
Oh,
I know.
Anyway, is that it?
Now, one quick thing for you road course fans. This week.
Here we go.
What?
Here we go.
This week, the SCCA runoffs are taking place at the Indianapolis Motor Speedway. If you want to watch them live, the races begin at about 8:30 a.m. on Friday morning, and you can watch them at scca.com. It will be live streamed all throughout the weekend. I believe they're alternating between Daytona, Indy, and possibly Mid-Ohio over the next 3 years, and they have like 28 different divisions.
I was gonna say, isn't that
kind of
like a run what you brung type of race?
No, they have all different classes. They have like 28 classes, and they range from full size sedans to Formula type cars to Mazda Miatas. It's unbelievable. Some of the
bring the Trailblazers.
Yeah.
well,
Wow.
shit.
Sam's getting evacuated.
I have to go. I'll see you guys.
All right, bye, Sam. Bye. We just hung up on Sam. I think his
Sam's dorm is burning to the ground. So hopefully he gets out of there.
We
soon
won't
enough.
see Sam for a couple weeks now.
It's not funny.
Take your laptop.
But we were joking earlier. We had a connectivity problem, and I said, maybe UNC got nuked, and it looks as though maybe
whoops.
How do you rate this? I don't know. It might not ever happen again.
Well, I'm going to shoot him a text to let us know that he's okay.
Run!
I'll tell you, though, he was up on his game. The minute that thing went off, he's like, I got to get out of here. Me, I'd be like, they can wait. Let's finish the show. You know?
Yeah. Well,
that's why Sam's going to live a lot longer than I am.
That was funny.
Oh my! I really want to know what he learned today. If he can text that in.
How to survive.
What did you learn today?
That's what he
Get
learned.
out quick.
Yeah, how to live. My goodness. And he wanted to contribute to the special thing that we want to do. So, Josh,
we're gonna bump that a week.
Yeah,
Halloween is still a month away. So
we got time. We got time. We have a fun fall snack
We should do it the week
driver
of the spooky.
attribution thing that we're gonna do. So when Neil gets a laptop or can do
Hopefully
it,
next week I'll have one for everyone.
and Sam was
I'll
working
put
on
some
putting
cool
that together.
stickers on the back for you.
It'll be fun. It's gonna be stupid, but it's gonna be fun. I think everybody's gonna like it.
Yeah,
and we're
but
gonna
sometimes
argue.
that's like an
Sounds just
off-topic.
like every RPM
Yeah.
podcast.
That's
That's like
it's
an
a normal
off-topic
thing.
subject for
I
all.
gotta,
exactly.
I gotta have 2 Red Bulls more often. It fires me up. I get
I'm
cranky.
pissed that you have the volcano thing over there.
What fucking? Here you go.
Thank you.
He thought it. Never mind. I'm not gonna go with it.
I know. I thought it was a euphemism for something else, but we'll move forward. Now,
He thought it was a different kind of toy.
I did.
Josh, I know what's coming, and I think I have something for you.
Whoa.
Well, all right, gentlemen. What have we learned today? I'm going to start with Neil.
Okay.
He has something coming for you. I'm interested because I was told to record before off air.
I pretty much learned that I have been saying Aston Martin wrong for my entire life, and that Josh is a fan of asphalt racing.
Yes. Neil?
I just told you.
That was it?
That was it.
Oh
I
my
don't learn
God.
much, dude.
That was me last week.
I got a few.
Red Bull.
Well, to make up for Sam, running out of his dorm, Sam's relationships haven't lived up to their expectations.
That was funny.
I heard that New Hampshire wanted to suck even harder. I heard that Eric does not want his name on any names on his white flag. Max Verstappen is Hey Arnold.
That was funny.
And I learned that Neil is not a winner.
I'm not.
Yet.
But hopefully
Yet.
we will get it.
Yeah, maybe this Saturday. Only one
I
way to
hope.
find out, and it's for all of you to come out to the Final Point Showdown double points for all 6 divisions at Wall Stadium Speedway. And we'll be crowning our champions. I will be burning the calculators. I'm not kidding. I try to come up my own point scenarios, just like you see on TV, like who has to finish where, and it's stressful.
Yeah,
It's
that's
stressful.
why
It's
you're an
easier to
announcer.
not
Because
think
when I call the race, I want it to be I want to know in my head, like, okay, if driver A finishes here and driver B finishes here, then I could call the champion
But
as
you
they
have
cross
to do
the
that at the
line.
beginning
There's
of the
so
year.
many variables.
Yeah, you'll
I
have
know.
to start at the beginning.
That's why, like, I hope in these I'm not wishing anything bad on anybody. In like these championship races, we get like a late race yellow. I hope I have a minute to just sit there and just start burning through numbers.
It's like every division except the modifieds are close, right?
Yeah.
I still think the modifieds are close.
They're still
Obviously, it's double
possible.
points, but I think every division except the modifieds, they might be close. It's going to be good battles.
And the double points thing really tightens up the number of positions that you have
Exactly.
either at your disposal or not at your disposal. So I can't wait.
Just look for an interesting week at Wall. Look for the highlights if you don't go.
Yeah,
It'll most likely be a good show.
I'm gonna be burned out on the mathematics. I'm not gonna want to touch a calculator for a long time after this weekend. It happens every year. And then when we come back on October 20th, and we just do it for no points and just money and trophies and
21st.
what it's all
For
about.
fun.
21st.
For the Spooky
Candy.
Spectacular.
Dude, I want someone to put candy in the exhaust pipe, like candy corn.
Is it really
so
the
when they go on,
21st?
yes, the 21st.
We're already talking about snacks.
Yes. Because when they go, well, I'm sorry, dude. You got me excited now. So when they we got Sam.
It is 21st, and Sam's alive, so that's good. All right, so now you guys know what happened to Sam. We can end the show. On behalf of Sam Ballard Jr., who's running for cover, Neil Rutt III, and Josh Matthews, I'm Eric Brennan. Everybody have a fantastic week,
guys.
and we will see you all, hopefully, at Wall Stadium Speedway for our points-paying finale.
Hopefully Sam comes down to get me.
That too.
Yeah.
Go to Wall.